always thought such meetings only happen in movies, where everything seems to fall into place by itself. Me too, and honestly, I didn't really believe anything would come out of this meeting. Hey, that's a little insulting already. Well, really? At first, just like you, I thought you wouldn't come. But I did, and I don't regret it a bit. I hope you don't either. No, I don't regret it. I'm glad we met. And by the way, I do hope something will come out of this, and that this won't be our last meeting. I threw the pen onto the table. My hand ached terribly. I'd been writing non-stop. It felt as if the lines were being guided by someone living deep inside my heart. I glanced at the sheets lying beside me. They were all covered in writing, page after page. Some lines had ink slightly smudged. In other places my hand trembled from exhaustion, making the letters crooked and slanted, yet still alive somehow. I reread everything I had written on the pages. Some words were barely legible from the tiredness of my hand. Phone ringing sound. Damn, him again. Good thing I almost finished the first part. Hello. Hope you haven't forgotten the deadline's approaching. Of course not. The first part is almost ready. I want to review it. If everything's good, we'll send it to print. Alright, I'll come by tomorrow. I'll wait for you at 8 a.m. Don't be late. I'll try. I was so tired, and I still had so much work to write everything into the computer, make edits, correct punctuation in text, make sure nothing got lost or merged into one, neither thoughts nor dialogues. I slid the laptop closer, opened the document. I invented her. The mouse cursor blinked on the last word I had typed, waiting for more. Word by word, I transferred the pages into the document, endlessly editing, fixing, deleting, writing, trying to find the right intonation, the right words to make it perfect. I didn't notice when night fell. My eyes were heavy, and I still had several pages left to edit. I carefully read every word, struggling to stay awake. I closed my eyes for a few minutes to rest them to burn terribly. I opened my eyes. I had fallen asleep right at my desk. My body ached as if a truck had run me over. I quickly copied the document to a flash drive, washed my face with ice-cold water to wake up a little, got dressed and ran out of the apartment, as usual. I was late, probably never left on time once. Such is my karma, always running, always late, always doing everything at the last minute. The elevator, as usual, got stuck on the upper floors, so I had to run down the stairs. My heart was pounding like a drum, and my thoughts raced in all directions. Did I save everything? Will I make it to Robert in time? Will anything come of this? Or maybe I'm getting fired right now. I burst out onto the street. The cold air hit my face fresh, almost cold. Screen fades. Robert's office. Although he was my friend at work, it was always business first, then friendship, then everything else. Hi. Hi, good to see you. Sit down. Sorry I'm a bit late. I approached the desk and sat in the chair opposite him. I handed him the flash drive and waited. I stayed silent, just watching how he furrowed his brow slightly, quickly scanned the screen, thinking about something. My hands were sweaty, and my heart started beating faster than usual. 20 minutes passed. Robert looked away from the computer and stared at me. He was silent for several seconds, just looking. So, why the silence? You pleasantly surprised me, he smiled and said. This is a worthy novel. I'll get it to print as soon as possible. Your job now is to write more, a continuation. A continuation? I said, surprised. Yes, a continuation. Write the second part. There's so much potential here. I'm glad you liked it. Congrats, you're not fired. Yet he laughed. Screen fades out. I stood up, nodded, and laughed. My mind was a storm of emotions. Joy, finally, someone recognized my talent, and fear because now I had to write more. Not just write continue a story in which I was no longer the author but only a mediator between Luna, Diane, and this world. Luna, I invented her. I love her, but I also fear her. I'm scared to write about her. It frightens me that I'm not just writing this story. It feels like it writes itself from inside me. Though I'm sure I'll manage. I'll figure something out. My legs guided me home, and I didn't notice when I accidentally bumped into someone. I heard a sound, something spilled. People started throwing angry looks my way. I turned my head, knees on the asphalt was a girl with her head down, hastily picking up books and notebooks scattered around. Sorry, I crouched beside her and began helping. It's okay. I'll pick everything up myself. Don't worry. She looked up and our eyes met. I froze. This simply couldn't be. She was almost the perfect copy of Luna. Even the smile, the same quiet, deep smile with a strange note that defies logic. Sorry again. It's fine. It's my fault for not watching where I was going. She picked up the last book. I still couldn't look away. I offered her my hand and helped her up. You look at me as if we know each other, she said awkwardly. I don't think we do, but you really resemble someone very dear to me. I don't know, maybe I do, she shrugged. I'd be glad to get to know you. If you don't mind, I'm Din. I'm Olivia. Nice to meet you. She smiled but said nothing more. Can I buy you a coffee? I think so. We walked together toward the nearest coffee shop. Walking next to her, I kept thinking this must be a dream, that I'll wake up at my laptop with the blinking cursor in an empty document and continue writing Luna's story. But this was not a dream, not fiction, this was my reality. For the first time in a long time, I didn't have to invent anything. I was just living and drinking coffee with a girl who was a true copy of my dream. For now, it felt like a movie, like none of this was real. She sat across from me at the table, telling me she worked as an elementary school literature teacher and loved her profession. She drank coffee slowly, constantly tucking hair behind her ear. I still couldn't believe she was here. How was it even possible that a fictional character lived in my city and now was sitting next to me drinking coffee, not hiding somewhere in the lines of my notes? I hoped this was fate, and that finally I found the one I dreamed of all my life. And from this moment on, our real story would begin, not written but lived.